Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today in this video I would like to continue my previous video entitled Unmasking Trend in Maritime Crime in the Caribbean. So this is the second part of the video. Each of these factors is tied to known criminal activities at sea. Dark activity, which is not limited merely to AIS signal loss, but intentionally turning off the AIS transponder, is prohibited under Chapter 5 of the Safety of Life at Sea or SOLAS Convention. There are some circumstances, even in the Caribbean, where as long as this way looked by the master of the vessel, such activity could be deemed acceptable for the safety of the vessel, but it often an indicator of illicit activity. Ships that intend to engage in illicit activity like meeting with another vessel to embark drugs, transship illegally caught fish, or violate sanctions may turn off their AIS transponder to help obscure their behavior. Similarly, drifting and sailing below 3 nautical miles per hour are uneconomic behavior for ships engaged in legitimate maritime commerce. While these indications are not in and of themselves indicate of anything specific, they can suggest a vessel may not be acting legally, particularly if there are other risk factors present. Sailing below the 3 knots may also be an indicator of either dropping off or seeking to pick up packages, often drugs left in the water for collection. There may even be several days between the drop-off and pick-up. MMSI changes can be routine, but particularly when paired with other activities, can also indicate attempts to obscure either past or future activities. Furthermore, they can indicate changes in ownership and control of a vessel, and when such a change also includes a change in flag, there may be cause for concern as to the intentions of the new owners. Meeting could involve anything with bunkering or legitimate resupplying to key transfer in a criminal supply chain. And finally, out-course deviations may also be indicators for uneconomic behavior that is tied to illegitimate activities, such as looking for a geolocated drug package left on the water for collection. In looking at the Caribbean, the above chart, which exclude tankers on account of their unusual challenge caused by the decline in the global oil markets, is quite telling as to change in suspicious activity during the pandemic, using the same periods from the traditional analysis mentioned earlier and from 2018 into 2019 shows that there is not significant decrease in suspicious behavior during the pandemic. On the contrary, there is actually an increase in dark activity, including drifting, sailing below 3 nautical miles, MMSC change, and course deviation in comparison on the same period in 2019. The only disease were a slight drop in the number of vessels and a significant decline in the activity in which no one is supposed to engage in during the pandemic. Meetings. Compared to the 4 months prior to the onset of COVID-19 restriction, there were actually more dark activities and slow sailings during the pandemic than they were before. Comparing the pandemic period to the period immediately prior is most instructive when considering the traditional data sets above. If the volume of legitimate maritime activity dropped by more than 50% and the volume of the movement by the air dropped more than 90%. It would seem that the volume of suspicious maritime activities should have dropped a significant amount as well. Instead, the pandemic saw a 38% decrease in the total number of suspicious vessels, a 26% increase in dark activity, a 77% decrease in drifting, and 18% increase in sailing below 3 nautical miles per hour, a 50% decrease in MMSI changes, an 88% decrease in meetings, and a 39% decrease in course deviation compared to the period from November 1, 2019 to March 11, 2020. One convenient narrative to explain the increase could involve more ships being stuck at sea, but only if drifting rather than dark activity had risen. While this data is not conclusive, it does indicate that suspicious maritime activity does not operate in correlation with changes in legitimate maritime commerce. As has been noted regarding drug flows, criminals don't waste a good crisis, meaning that maritime criminality is relatively unimpeded by the restrictions that have curtailed legal activities during the pandemic, and criminals may actually be taking advantage of the new status quo. This is new insight and new visibility for the region, and digging deeper expose a number of trends. Vessel families. While there has been a push in recent years for maritime interdictions to trigger financial investigation in the Caribbean, perhaps more attention needs to be paid to vessel ownership investigation, either at the national or at the regional levels. If a vessel is arrested either within the region or after having been through the region with drugs on board, it is possible the vessel owner and operators may have been involved. Therefore, one approach to identifying suspicious vessels deserving of scrutiny is to examine any sibling and related vessels, including vessels of associated companies. Doing so in the Caribbean would require the identification of a list of vessels of interest whose activities immediately raise suspicions. Reverse routes. The news has been full of stories about Iranian vessels heading for Venezuela, especially owing to international sanctions. However, in examining the movement of vessels leaving the Caribbean after engaging in suspicious activity, some actually proceed onward to sanctioned countries. At the same time, new routes are emerging, bringing drugs and other contraband from other parts of the world to the Caribbean. This deserves significant attention from the region. Unexpected vessels. A traditional narrative that has been contradicted is the notion that illicit goods are moved only in certain types of vessels. The 2019 arrest of the MRV NIKA in Indonesia should serve as a cautionary tale. The NIKA is a cargo vessel that was engaged in illegal fishing, operating almost invisibly on account of its vessel type. No law enforcement agency was looking for cargo vessels conducting illegal fishing. Similarly, for the Caribbean, only searching for container ships may obscure possible suspicious patterns of activity which are also being exhibited by cement carriers, livestock carrier, or rivers, which may be engaging in smuggling and trafficking. So, this is the end of the article. Don't forget to watch the previous part, and also don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.